Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. It is time for the US to create a Ripple test for crypto. Most crypto enthusiasts are less than pleased that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's past approach to crypto. This is not because legitimate businesses oppose regulation, but because of the breadth, complexity, and uncertainty associated with the current regulatory regime. So even in the context of general discontent, few actions by the SEC have engendered as much widespread criticism as the December 22nd, 2020 complaint that initiated a civil enforcement action against Ripple Labs and two of its executives. Not everyone opposed the action. For example, Coin Center, a pro-crypto nonprofit advocacy and research group, declined to argue against the idea that XRP is a security. In my previous expert take, I suggested that the case was consistent with prior SEC enforcement initiatives and the Howey investment contract test, simply known as the Howey test, which has long been used by the SEC to determine when crypto assets are securities. And actually, I was going to make that short, but I want to add a little bit more into this because I want to say something at the end. So, on the other hand, there are plenty of voices condemning the SEC's case, and this includes complaints by former SEC official Mark Powers, current SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce, also known as Crypto Mom, and a pending lawsuit arguing that Ripple's XRP token is not a security, in which thousands of XRP holders have sought to participate. And as long as I've held XRP minimally since 2015, I have never for 1 second, even prior to purchasing XRP, have ever thought it to be a security. It has always been currency. So the Regulatory Transparency Project, a nonprofit, nonpartisan group associated with the Federalist Society, sponsored a teleforum on June 24 titled SEC vs. Ripple Labs, Cryptocurrency and Regulation by Enforcement, with a pre-enrollment of more than 500 members of the public, and the audience was overwhelmingly unhappy and unimpressed with the SEC's action against Ripple and its XRP token. So the general dissatisfaction with the Ripple case, often denigrated as regulation by enforcement, has led some to call for the development of a Ripple test to more clearly articulate how securities laws should apply to crypto assets. And what I wanted to say is I believe the Ripple test, we've called it differently before, but let's stick with the theme of this article. I believe the Ripple test is how 100% of every crypto should be then regulated and should be given the exact level playing field, the same fair test, just to be fair and balanced, that was given to Ripple should be given to all of the crypto. If it's going to be out there, I say let's not, pick and choose and give Ripple the only difficult, challenging test. Let's start from the beginning after the test is clear from Ripple and start with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of the others. Give them the same exact fair treatment and see where we end up. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of different outcomes than what's about to happen with Ripple, and we know that's coming very soon. Another interesting article, Nigeria's central bank digital currency pilot to start October 1st. We've gone through so many different articles on national or different country CBDCs. I'm just going to skip right into what I think stands out the most to me in this entire article. For example, the financial officials in Nigeria have been grappling with how to best deal with the rise of cryptocurrencies in the African nation, which prohibited transactions on cryptocurrencies in the banking sector. But short end of the story, as of October 1st, the digital currency will be built on the Hyperledger Fabric blockchain. And if you follow this channel very closely, then you understand where we're headed with that. Before the bank-based blockchain projects are going to transform the financial services industry, and the project designed to be highly scalable, allowing for multiple entrants to easily integrate into the entire financial supply chain process through the secure blockchain, allowing for an unprecedented amount of transaction transparency. IBM revealed a partnership with blockchain startup Stellar, spreading the influence of Hyperledger Fabric project to global levels unseen before. And as we've shown many, many times for the past few years, that Hyperledger Fabric, or I should say Stellar, is also an associate member of Hyperledger. So I believe there's going to be a great outcome with that. And like Danielle Dixon said, they would like to be the currency, and they've already proven significantly that's what they are going to do. Now, Project Venus DeFi on Stellar using Turing signing servers. And I don't think very many people realize how enormous the Turing signing servers are, the TSS. It's pretty significant. And for those of you who aren't paying attention, this should definitely catch your attention. As I often say, the top 4 projects for this channel, it's not limited to. We discuss probably at least a dozen different assets on this channel as we have news and as we are aware of the discussion. So the XRP, we have shown it's focused on wholesale, the enterprise institution, XLM on the retail, the unbanked, the underbanked. Again, these aren't limited to, but these are the focuses. We discuss XDC for the trade finance, and we discuss VeChain, VET for the supply chain. And again, aren't limited to, because we've shown how Stellar also connects into that with Maersk and IBM as well. So again, we can show you multiple and go on and on and on, endless, but we like to stay on the focus of these assets because that way we stay focused on our investment and where they are headed specifically. So Tyler Vanderhoeven has a few good articles we tend to share from time to time. And, going right into the introduction is probably all you're really going to need from this article. But again, as with every single article we discuss, the link is available in the description below, along with affiliate links as well. So in May of 2020, Tyler Vanderhoeven wrote a proposal for an experimental Stellar ecosystem smart contract engine called TSS, which is the Turing signing servers. And at Script 3, we'd been looking into building DeFi, the decentralized finance protocols on Stellar, for a while. So we immediately got involved with the project, and once TSS became more of a reality, we partnered with SDF and CBDC to create Project Venus, which is a DeFi FX short-term forwards protocol as a proof of concept for TSS-based DeFi protocols. And believe me, this is just magnificent. It's amazing to see where these assets are headed. And again, as we tend to show, these are going to be major players in the new financial system. Actually already are, but we'll stick with that. So JP Morgan becomes the first big bank to give retail clients access to Bitcoin. And starting on July 19th, a first in U.S. big banking is where JPS is now giving its retail clients access to Bitcoin exposure effective July 19, and will reportedly not limit access to only ultra-wealthy clients. RBI is eyeing a phased introduction of digital currencies, states the deputy governor, and RBI is considering a phased introduction of the central bank digital currency, as it will need legal changes to be made in the nation's foreign exchange rules and information technology laws, Deputy Governor T. Ravi Shankar said. So that's the RBI Reserve Bank of India, considering its phased introduction of a CBDC. And as we've shown a lot of content from RBI and its connection to Ripple and Stellar. And again, not only have we shown in the UAE, the capability of having the Sharia compliant certification, which again is helping on such a global scale as well. So billionaire Thomas Turfy owns cryptocurrency to play the odds, only pointing this out as he states, even I myself have put a little bit of money into crypto because even though chances are I think that this is not going to be a viable market, I think there's a small chance that this will be a dominant currency. So you have to play the odds. And I find that a little bit of humor in this statement as, he almost contradicts himself from the middle to the end of his comment. But again, if the wealthy people are putting their money into it, basically do what they do, not so much what they say. And a little bit of money to billionaire Thomas Turfy, I think, is probably significant to the regular person like you and I. So I think the amount of, percentage amount of what he calls a little is probably pretty significant amount. And also, too, we have XRP back up to 60.66 cents. And Bitcoin looks like it moved up to 33,917.3. Ethereum at 2,161.14. So it looks like we got a little bit of a climb overnight, moving back up slowly but surely. And again, as I say, with all of the excitement, this channel, we stay away from politics, as that's not the focus of this discussion in this channel. We are here to help investors, discuss news on finance, discuss news on digital assets, cryptocurrencies globally. So we avoid all of that, but that's whenever I discuss what's probably coming in August. In the USA, I believe there is going to be, I don't want to call it the perfect storm because there's too many factors, but I think it's going to be such a train wreck of politics that it's going to help boost regulations. And I believe by the end of August, I think it's going to help boost the price of our assets because we already know, as they've stated in 2019, the beginning of the liquidity crisis, liquidity being money. So there's a banking global money crisis, as you would say, liquidity crisis all around the world that the banks are facing. And as Trichet calls for progressive, orderly change in reserve currencies, I mean, that is the new future financial system. So they can only push that down the road so far before, the dam breaks and the pressure's too strong and it has to just dive in and be used. And I know because we've shown and we've shared from the mouth of the horse, so to speak, how... Sorry, I'm stumbling over words. I'm being very careful and very cautious for a reason. But I believe, as they've stated before, they can only kick the can down the road for so long and for so far. And we know, I believe if it hasn't changed again already, they did move the ISO 20022 to mid-22 now, 2022. I think it's in June is when they're projecting that to take off. It was going from this year, and then it got moved to the end of the year. Then it got moved to the beginning of the year. Now it's to the mid of next year. So, we're going to follow all this. We continue to see delay after delay after delay. But again, at the same time, we are moving forward, even though it seems like, the newer investors who want to dive in and be the holder of an asset that jumped like Bitcoin, 20,000, 60,000, and that's coming. If you have an asset that has a great team, that has a great use case, great utility, and I believe those are going to survive. And again, still agreeing with Brad Garlinghouse that the 1% will survive. It's going to take, let's put it this way, it's not going to be a one asset wins them all and takes them all. It's not even a possibility. It's not even an option. It's not going to happen. So I think that's where, if you pay attention to how Brad and even David Schwartz have mentioned about, the rising tide lifting all boats, so to speak, or, settle down with basically the negativity and the maximalism in this industry and start realizing how these assets connect. And we try to show that over and over again, how assets connect, other interledgers, other overledgers, how they become cross-chain capability, how they focus on wholesale, how they focus on retail, how they focus on trade, how they focus on supply chain. Now, like the different DeFi expansions, the CeFi, and then how we have NFTs. I mean, all of the assets have a chance to shine in their own focus and zone. So again, guys, if we're here promoting an asset is one thing, but if we're here as a retail investor looking to make profits, then we have to kind of look at the big picture. So the former ECB president welcomes climate change actions and return of inflation. And he's warned that the global financial system requires an orderly transition to a potential changing mix of reserve currencies, while welcoming central banks' clearer focus on combating the climate change. Trichet was speaking at the launch of the 8th Annual Global Public Investor, published on July 21st by OMFIF. And the report includes a benchmark study on the asset allocation plans of reserve managers, sovereign funds, and public pension funds with a combined $42.7 trillion in assets under management, the AUM. That's pretty significant. And as we've discussed before, MoneyGram had jumped after the report of a takeover interest, and that's where we'd seen the possible takeover or acquisition from the Stellar Development Foundation, the SDF, and PE firm Advent International. So just upon the report, the company received an 11% climb, and that's very, very exciting. But again, guys, remember, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. And as always, before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. I'm not impressed by money, social status, or job title. I'm impressed by the way someone treats other human beings. And thanks to Surfmeister, our VIP on Patreon, and to each and every one of you, hit that like and subscribe. Much love, and we will catch you in the next one.